Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Chris Ortega, the CEO of Fresh FP&A, and I'm back with another Fresh CFO Fridays. Today's topic is going to be embracing 2024, the top 3 resolutions for fractional CFOs. But before we get into that, how's everybody doing? How's your Friday? How's the first week coming back in 2024? I felt like this week for me coming back was it was interesting. After taking some time off and really relaxing and having some time to just chill, stay at home. I brushed up on my Netflix series. I watched some great series, and now I'm getting back in the swing of things. It kind of felt like to me this week has been like the train that's been on the tracks where it's like slowly building the momentum and getting back up. But let me know in the comments. Let me know on the live how your week is going, how your break was, how 2024 starting off for you. Feel free to drop that off in the comments. And yeah, so this topic today we're going to be talking about embracing success in 2024. So for me, walking into another year of leading Fresh FP&A, this is a series I did last year. I kind of wanted to give my insights and lessons learned because believe you me, there was a lot of lessons learned in 2023 for Fresh FP&A. But yeah, that's the goal of what this conversation is going to be. If this is your first time coming to one of my LinkedIn Lives or YouTube or seeing me on Facebook, my name is Chris Ortega. I lead a global fractional CFO and advisory service company called Fresh FP&A. And basically what we do is we help transform and scale businesses by providing fractional CFO and advisory services to those businesses. And for me, I've spent almost 20 years in accounting, finance, FP&A, and financial leadership. Yes, I'm that old. I was out in a conference in December and I was talking with somebody. They were looking across from me. They were like, "Man, you look like you just got out of college." I'm like, "No, I got out of college a long time ago." But that's what we do. If you're first time coming to a LinkedIn Live or looking at us on YouTube or all the other socials, we help empower and enable global finance, FP&A, CFO, and fractional CFO professionals. So thanks for stopping by. And let's jump right into it. So one of the top things is looking back into 2023, some of the great clients that we brought on board. We have double-digit year-over-year growth from a fractional CFO client perspective that we had. And one of the, I think the top resolutions for, I would say this is for any CFO, any finance, any FP&A, any fractional CFO, is really that strategic ability, right? And let me really break that down on what that means, right? We had some clients that we brought on last year that suffer from fractional CFO remorse. And basically what that was that, they kind of came in, they thought they brought on a fractional CFO partner to kind of help them transform, scale, be that strategic, I call it sparring partner inside the business. And they quickly realized that they really just had another tactical executor. They had an accountant, they had a person that could close the books and make sure the debits and credits balanced. And one of the key things that I think fractional CFOs and finance professionals need to focus on next year is that strategic ability, right? So as we continue to see the macro environment of uncertainty, of challenge, there's a talent shortage. Who knows what the private equity, VC, what those markets are going to look like. We've also come off of 2023 having one of the lowest IPOs of companies. So we've got a lot of tailwinds continue to walk into 2024. And that strategic ability that you can be able to provide, that agility, that ability to be able to adapt to change, right? That opportunity to what I call build a strategic funnel for your clients that you work with, right? It's really simple to me. And really what I break it down to our clients and to the team and to my fractional partners that continue to help support our clients, it's really a strategic funnel, right? Strategies are at the top. You build that down to tactics. You look at the metrics. You look at the milestones. At the bottom, you get down to the execution plan. So for me, one of the top resolutions for fractional CFOs and just overall finance professionals as you go into 2024 is continue to have that strategic ability inside of your working with your clients, inside of your teams, inside of your organization. I think that is super, super important. And a lot of times, I think people say like the strategy is always the fun part, right? Yeah, it's you could say it's the fun part, but you also have to be able to translate strategy to tactics, all the way through that funnel that I mentioned, that execution plan of it. And for me, our ability to be able to help our clients, last year, we were to help some clients go through some acquisitions. We did some fundraising. We did some new markets. They expanded a couple of our clients across our portfolio, expanded triple digits. So having that a strategic ability to really navigate a lot of those tailwinds that I just mentioned, the macro economy, the private equity economy, the continued uncertainty, the talent. You really want to be that strategic sparring partner for your clients as you walk into 2024. So that's definitely my first resolution. Resolution number one. Getting into number two. This is one I think is probably for probably anybody. It's not just finance, but I think tech-enabled finance, right? We have to listen to me. We have to be technology adopters inside of the organization. I think gone are the days where finance and the CFO and the value that we brought to the business was only the numbers, right? You see that 2023 was an explosion of generative AI. I mean, that was like the hottest thing. I was talking about it. I had some great partners that we worked with and did a lot of great things around generative AI. That's going to continue into 2024. And I think the biggest thing that we've learned from our clients and also the CFO, the finance, the FP&A, and the fractional CFO community around technology is, listen, we cannot be the laggers. We can't be the last to the party when it comes to generative AI. We can't be the last to the party when it comes to automation and RPA. We can't be the last to the party when it comes to data analytics and machine learning, right? We have to change that. And I think one of the biggest ways that we can do that is, technology is how finance scales. When I look back over my career of 20 plus years in leading high growth businesses, I've always looked back that technology has always been my biggest avenue and biggest ability to be able to scale, right? I know a lot of people are getting you wrapped up your budgets, and shout out to everybody that wrapped up this budget season. I know for us, it was a really challenging time and getting through the budgets with the clients that we work with globally. But getting through that, one thing that is always, and this is just always from what I've seen in working, is that finance is typically never in that budget to give. We're not going to double headcount year over year, right? And I think this idea of finance and CFOs to do more with less, right? When leading high growth companies, I always remember coming down and it gets to that headcount position. And when sales were going crazy and growing year over year, we're blowing out our forecasts, we're blowing out our revenue projections. Of course, you're going to put more ammunition on top of that. But it never really translated to finance. I never really understood that. But we never got the opportunity to say, we're going to have all this headcount coming in, right? So that ability to be able to leverage some of these awesome technologies, these awesome tools to help complement you, that's how we scale, right? And I know for us in working with our clients, this is a we're Office 365 shop. And my team, we were some of the first people to start leveraging Copilot. I use generative AI literally every day. My team uses it every day, whether that's Claude, whether that's Bart, whether that's GPT-4, whether that's all the hosts of the Chrome extensions that are out there in terms of being able to leverage these tools. Generative AI is really, really, really important. And I think it's one of the biggest avenues for finance or fractional CFOs to scale. So that tech forward finance piece, and my goal to you and my challenge to everybody that's looking at this live and going back to this video from a technology perspective. Here's my challenge for you. My challenge for you is to go deep dive into whether it's automation or prescriptive or predictive analytics or machine learning or generative AI or data analytics or budgeting and planning, or if it's data warehousing or it's financial reporting. There are so many different avenues, but here's my challenge. Find one or two really, really areas of curiosity around that I just mentioned that you're really excited about and go learn it. I think one of the biggest ways, and I was sharing this at a CFO conference I was last year, I was sitting across in a room with about 15 different CFOs, and I just got off the stage doing an AI in finance presentation to an entire. It was a keynote presentation that I was doing to probably a room of about 150 CFOs and senior finance professionals. And I come out to this group of about 15 CFOs, and they're like, Chris, man, like, really loved your presentation, but everything you were saying was so far ahead. Like, how do you break this down to like step one to start? And here's my favorite prompt with that group of 15 different CFOs that I was able to sit and work with. I said, look, you are a CFO put in your industry and you want to learn more about generative AI and how you can leverage it. So construct a 15-day, 30-minute per day scheduled lesson and objective that I could get better in learning generative AI and learning to use these tools, and make it easily to export to Word, to Excel, or PDF. And that was literally it. Working through. Now there was some customizing that we were doing. There were some things that we were changing, but I highly recommend that find 1 to 2 of those areas that you are passionate about or just naturally curious on, and go find them, right? Go leverage them. Go try to learn more about it, because that second resolution around that tech finance forward, that whether you bring that into your fractional CFO business or whether you bring that over to your clients, or you're just leveraging these tools to say how you can bring more horsepower, how you can bring more capacity, and how you can bring more value. That would definitely be a resolution and a recommendation and a challenge for you. So for all those on this live, I usually get like the participants and people that joined in. I'm going to follow up with some of you and say, hey, for that resolution number 2 about being tech forward, did you actually find 1 or 2 of those? So that would be my challenge and resolution for, finance, FP&A, and fractional CFO professionals around that one. The third one, and this was probably one that I want to take a second and be honest and vulnerable. This was probably one of the biggest ones for me coming out of 2023. That is definitely like top focus. Obviously, it made the top 3, and this is people-centric leadership. I think looking back over my finance career, right, I've always been the kind of finance executive, the kind of leader, the kind of CFO to always factor in the people aspect of it, right? Like my team, and not just a finance organization. I think a lot of times we get comfortable in having the same, people around us and all that. One of the biggest ways that we've seen a lot of value with our clients is branching outside the finance organization. So, for example, one of the things that we were working with some clients on was they're growing. They just acquired another business. They're looking to really ramp into resources and really grow this other line of business that they recently acquired. So we partner right with their HR and their recruiting team. And this was an initiative where, we came in board and we worked directly with them to work through the headcount models, the planning. We were also involved in some of the interviewing and some of the core competencies, and really involved in that qualitative aspect to help this client make sure that they were not just only thinking about the quantitative elements as this new strategy that they were going down, but also having a partner that's saying, hey, we can translate this from qualitative, whether it's competencies, whether it's interviewing, whether it's hiring, how do we want to hire? Should we use recruiters? All the way down to the quantitative side of it. So for me, I think one of the biggest resolutions and biggest opportunities, and this can translate for fractional CFOs and it can translate to finance and FP&A professionals as well too, is getting to that people aspect of it. Right. I got to meet one of my really good friends, and he does training and development for HR. And he talked a lot about this talent gap. And he showed me this U.S. Labor Bureau of Statistics chart that projected the amount of labor that's going to be in accounting, that's going to be in finance, some of these quantitative roles for the next like 5 to 10 years. And of course, like, being always looking at data and looking at graphs, right? I see it from like 2020 last year to 2020 to like 20, it was like I think until 2027 to 2028, it was like this tranche of talent going down, right? And I keenly went to that. I was like, man, that shows like there is a talent gap of these professionals that are going to be able to have this value inside the business, right? And he's like, yeah, Chris, that's one of the most important things. And I think one of the most important elements that we highlighted in that conversation, and looking at this dip in that U.S. Labor and Bureau Statistics data chart of forecasting the workforce, I was like, man, there is a significant people aspect to this, right? And I think one of the most important things around leading a finance organization, whether you're leading a finance organization full-time inside of an organization, or you're leading the finance organization from a fractional CFO perspective, people, that is like, the more that you could get the pulse of the people, right? Get the pulse of it's one of the pillars that we have at Fresh FP&A. It's actually when it comes down to the foundation pillars of Fresh FP&A, it's going to be people, process, and partnership, right? And it all starts, everything starts with the people. So not just, building that great relationship with the C-suite, the business owners, the CEOs, the founders. Maybe they have a CIO, or maybe they have a chief human resource officer. But looking back over 2023, the people aspect and branching outside of the finance organization, that has been one of the biggest strengths across Fresh FP&A. When I look at our year-over-year growth that we had in terms of new clients that we brought on globally, partners was the biggest source of that. Partners being other fractional CMOs, other fractional chief human resource officers, other fractional COOs that have said, "Hey, Chris, we came into this organization. I maybe came in as the chief marketer. I'm kind of helping them on the marketing strategy. But I quickly realized that they definitely need some help on the finance organization." And it's just been a lot of great referrals, a lot of great partnerships. These are great partners that I've worked with throughout my career, great people that I met through LinkedIn or through other conferences and other networking. The people aspect of your business as a fractional CFO owner, as someone leading your fractional CFO company, that is a blue ocean. And for those who don't know, like, there's red oceans and there's blue oceans. If you visually think of, I forgot the book name. Anybody drop in the comments of what that book was? I think it was like a 300-page book. And yeah, over my break, I didn't take 300 pages and want to knock that out. But when you think of a blue ocean, right, it's an opportunity where there's not a lot of fish over there. It's a very clear, nice place to go sit down, maybe get your Mai Tai or get your drink and go over there and have a great time. But I think the people aspect and branching outside of the finance organization, building those great connections, building those great networks, is a superpower walking into 2024. So that's going to be that third resolution in terms of that people-centric leadership, right? Get Melissa Harrington, who's a great CFO and someone I highly respect. One of the things that, we both fundamentally agree to is people above profits, right? That is, and yeah, you hear CFO say that. You're like, profits everything. Chris, what are you talking about? The people aspect and the human aspect of this walking into 2024, the leadership, the training, the development. My key action item for all of those looking at this from that people-centric perspective, my challenge to you, whether you're running your fractional CFO business or you're a CFO or you're an FP&A, irregardless of what level, irregardless of what stage, go build some great partnerships and build those partnerships outside of your comfort zone, which is finance. Go build a partnership with sales. Go build a partnership with marketing. Go build a partnership with HR. Go build a partnership with legal. Go build a partnership with IT. My challenge to you is go foster those great partnerships inside the business. So those are my top 3 resolutions for fractional CFOs walking into 2024. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to check us out. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to check us out on YouTube. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. That way you stay notified of all of our videos. I'm not going to be traveling until probably sometime in February. So my goal and my marketing team is like, Chris, we made this investment in this nice studio that we've got. We got to make sure that we get leverage out of it. So if you've enjoyed this, thank you so much for taking the time to sit through it. I hope your Friday is going well. Welcome to 2024. It's here. Like, I'm like bubbling with energy and like, yeah, hey guys, the train's getting off the track. So if you're not as excited and not coming into this week and with as much passion and energy as I have, that's okay. It's got to build momentum in it. I'm based in Indiana, so like I gotta have my excitement before 5 o'clock hits, because then it becomes midnight. But anyways, thank you so much for coming in. Tune into our next LinkedIn Lives, and we're gonna keep more consistency around this. And as I always end, keep pushing, never settle, and the best is yet to come. Let's get it. Thank you, everybody, and catch you on the next one.